Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about data attributes, and these are ways you can store information directly in your HTML or your CSS. This can come in very handy when you're working on a complex UI that is dynamic, or when you're trying to work on a reusable component. This is one way that you can target your components or your elements and style them dynamically. The good thing about it is that you can access it from your HTML, your CSS, and your JavaScript. It means you can target it anywhere from your code. And another thing again is that most of the popular CSS frameworks also support data attributes, which means you can go ahead. Something like Tail CSS has a way for you to style your components using data attributes. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I already have my terminal open here, so but for me to proceed, I have a starter kit, which is just basically something that I use for a base for starting my tutorial. So you can get this at Amarachi Ugwu next year. Just basically this URL. So I'm going to copy the URL and go back to my terminal. So I already created an empty folder and then open it in my terminal. So, and I want to clone this into this particular folder. So I'm going to say git clone. I'm going to paste the URL and I'm going to put a dot. What I'm doing this is because I don't want it to create another folder inside this folder. I just want to clone it into this particular folder. I'm going to hit enter and then wait for that to clone. So now that it's done, I'm going to do code dots just for it to open this repo in my VS Code. So now that we have this, the first thing I want to do is I want to install my packages. So I'm going to open a terminal here and I'm going to do npm install. Okay, I just missed M. I'm going to hit enter. So while that is going, I'm just going to walk you through what my starter kit looks like. So this is just a basic application I created with Create Next app. So I just did a few things. I have here my public, I have fonts, I have local fonts, Poppins, which is what I love to use in most of my applications, and then Swiss for some stylish heading. So, but majorly this is what I'm using for throughout my application Poppins. So if I go into my SRC folder inside my app, you can see that I have a layout here and I've just removed all the other fonts. I just have Poppins as what I'm using in my body. So I've also removed the page.tsx that is normally here, and I've added an entry into my application using this other syntax. So if I had the page, it would have followed the page to be the entry of my application. But now this can also be the entry of my application in the case where you want a folder to be the entry of your application. So this is just the basic way of doing it. So this is the entry point of my application. And then I have some CSS configuration that I made, just styles, colors that I've already put in. So I left this open because some specific projects I have to like add more to this. So this is just like I said, a base to my applications, right? So I just have a few colors, I have few animations, and this is just basically it. This is just what I have in my configuration. So I think that's about it. So this is just it. There's no much thing. And I think I also have a library, just a very simple library, which I call CN. This is just basically used for merging classes. So we now that my packages is done installing, so let me just run it using npm run dev. So I can go ahead and start this. So you can see it's just basically going to write home page for me, right, which is what I have in the entry point of my application, which is right here inside this place, home page. So for me to demonstrate this data attributes, I'm going to use design a tab component. So I'm just going to reduce this. So inside here, I'm just going to have a div, and then I'm going to say class name. So I'm just going to give this a width 500 pixel, and I'm going to give it a border of blue 6, right? So, and I'm going to give it an MX of auto, that's margin left and right auto, and I'm going to give it a padding top or margin top of 14, which I believe is 56 pixels. So I'm going to save this and then try to put something into it. So I'm going to have another div, which is going to be flex. Right inside this div, I'm going to have my tabs. So I'm going to make it be like a div dots. Div dots. I don't think I want it to be flex, so let me just have it as a div, and I know what. For now, I'm just going to do tab 1, right? So I'm just going to save this and go to my browser and see how it looks. So this is how it looks at the moment. So I also want to come here and give this a rounded of LG, right? 8 pixels. So what I want to do now is I also want to come here and create an array of objects. So I'm just going to const tabs is equal to an array. Inside this array to the objects, and I want to have an app ID. I'm going to call it tab1. I also want to have a label. It's going to also be a string. I also want to have content. Also going to be a string. I'm going to call it tab1 content here. So I'm going to quickly copy this and duplicate it 2 extra times. So this will be, I'm going to Control D or Command D to select all ones and then say 2. Do the same thing for this other one and say 3. Now that I have my tabs, I can look through it. So inside this place, I'm going to have like this. I'm going to do tabs.map. And then this, I'll have another function inside. And it's going to have another function, and then this. So I'm going to copy this guy or cut this guy and put it right here. Right, so inside here I'm going to have tab, right? So here I'm going to have key. I believe that's why it's screaming. Key is going to be tab dot ID, right? So this box now here is going to be tab dot content. No, tab dot label. Tab dot label. Right? So let's save this and see how it looks. So we have this. So here is going to be flex item center justify between. Yeah, we have this now. So I also want this guy here to have like a P of 4. Then I also want each of these to have right here, yep, have class name. So I want it to have like a P of 2 around it. So we have this. It's coming together. And then I also want this particular guy to have like a border bottom, border, let's do tertiary. So I know these classes here are coming from my Tailwind CSS, which I have already configured. I see, okay, this is good. So now that we have this, I also want to map through tab again to display my contents, right? Tab.map. So in this case now, I'm just going to do contents. I'm going to say Ctrl X, right? So this is going to be, okay, this is supposed to be out, yeah, exactly. Supposed to be out here, and it's meant to have its own div around it, div dots. So open this up, put this in and save for it to arrange it. So we have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. So we don't want to display it all at once. So what we can do is that we can come here and have a use state. So I'm going to do const, going to do active tab ID, right, set active tab ID. I want to have ID here is equal to use states, and I want to use ID tab 1 to be the default, right? So I'm going to import use state from React, and since SGS is going to screen because I need to specify that this is the client component, right? We're going to save this and see how this looks. Everything is looking good. So here now, I want to be like, okay, inside here, I'm going to have an if statement which says if this is equal to if tab dot id is equal to this, I want to do this. Let's see. Okay, so tab content 1 is here. So this works now. So I need to be setting this whenever we click on each of the tabs. So I need to come here and have an click event on click. I want to have a function inside that, and then I want to set it to tab dot id. So we have this now. So when we click on this, you can see. So I also want this to be cursor pointer, so that when we hover over this, it's visible that it's clickable. Right, so now what we want to use our data attribute for is when we click on this, we want to style it dynamically using the data attribute. So we are going to come here and add a data attribute, which is like data slash active is equal to if tab dot id. Where is that bot coming from? If tab dot id is equal to exactly equal to active tab id, then it results to 3, which simply means that data active is equal to 3, right? You get it. So now that we have this, once we click, I'm going to open my terminal so that we can see how that is going. So when I click on this guy, you can see that data attributes for tab 1 is active now, for tab 2 and tab 3 is false. So you can see the switch. So this switch now, like I said earlier, can be targeted by your HTML, your JSX. You can target it in the HTML, your CSS, and also in your JavaScript, right? So now that we have this now, so we want to style this. So we're going to go to our global CSS. So here I'm going to, for you to target your data attributes, you do it this way, do data slash dash active is equal to true, then you open the curly braces and then you write your style. So when it's active, I want it to have a color. So it's going to be at apply. So this is coming from doing CSS. So I want to apply this particular styling to any component that matches this, that has the data attribute. So it's going to be like text. I'm going to have, which color should I give it now? Let me get primary. 1, right? And then I want to do border bottom of 1 pixel, then the border color I want to do border, I think I still want to use primary 1, right? So I want to give it a font, a weight of 500, so that should be, let me do, should I do semi-bold or 600? Okay, let's see. So you can see now that this is this. So if you also want to target the data attribute of the one that is inactive, that's false, just have false here. And then for this, I want to maybe use tertiary, even though I already had that in my page here. So I'm just trying to show tertiary. Tertiary, let's say 5, right? So border bottom, I don't want to have a border for that, just maybe keep the font medium, right? Just to create that distinction. Right, so you can see now we have a little sticker. Tab 1 is always, so you can see this. So this is a way for you to target your elements using data attributes, and this can be very, very helpful because this actually came to the rescue for an application I'm working on, which is very complex. UI is just so dynamic. So this actually came to the rescue, and I decided like this is a good thing to bring onto my YouTube channel, and here we are. Thank you guys for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye.